What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity build a video, and today we are going to talk a little bit about designing your city, and then I'm going to ask no, I'm not going to ask anything. I'm going to answer questions. That's right. Okay, and we're going to talk about commonly made mistakes and stuff like that. Sorry, my head's in a different place right now. I was on Facebook and I'm reading comments, and I know better. I know better than to get involved in debates on fucking Facebook. And I did it anyway. So that is why I'm late to recording this video, because I'm an idiot and I'm dealing with social media. So I'm off that now. And I'm like, fuck them people. Okay. So if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you have any questions, or you need to request a video, or you need any extra help, you can hit me up on Facebook, Discord, in the group on the SimCity game. You can talk to me in the comments on here. There's plenty of ways to get a hold of me. And with that being said, I am going to go ahead and get this going here. So the other day, yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I put out a video on road upgrades. Okay. And I talked about the tip that where you're going to be forcing your traffic onto 3 smaller roads that are unaffected by your happiness. And that way you don't have to do road upgrades anymore throughout your city. And I've noticed a few comments in that video asking how to make it look natural around those little roads, because as we know, it's not very pretty. Okay. So that being said, if it were me, what I would do is I would take let me see if I can get my phone brightness up here. Okay. So if it were me, I would do one of 2 options, depending on what type of city you have. If you have one that, or you want to have one that is very beautiful, then you need to take a different course of action than the typical person, okay? Now, there is one thing about this road upgrades trick. You are going to want, whatever you do, whatever you put on it, you have to keep there forever. Or at least for a very long time. Because what's going to happen is, let's say that you were to want to move it. You're going to have to move all that shit that you haven't upgraded for a very long time, because what's going to happen is, and I'm going to go over to my cactus map so I can show you guys, and I've explained this in the road upgrades video, that when you force all these people on, or, well, how do I put this? When you force your road upgrades onto the tiny roads, and then you leave them there untouched, the happiness will stay where it's at. It won't be affected by the road upgrade, because the people are not on that stretch of road, and nothing on that stretch of road that's, boosting it is going to be touching any homes. But here's the thing. You're always going to have this little notification on your roads, right? But they're going to stay on the little roads. They're not going to leave those roads ever, unless you pick something up off those roads. If I was to pick up one of those parks that I have placed there, the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to take away that road upgrade, that road notification, which is another trick you can use to push the road upgrades elsewhere. Okay? I've told you guys this before. You can pick up something on that stretch of road, and then you place it elsewhere, and the notification will go away. Well, what's going to happen is, if you guys let's say you guys go to the corner of your map, right? And you decide you're going to put, like, I don't know, 3 parks in the top corner of your map, and you're going to keep them on these little 3 roads. And you go about your life, you play the game for 5-6 months, you haven't touched them, they're over there, they're doing their thing, and you've been doing your thing, and you've upped your population a lot, and you haven't done any road upgrades in the higher populated areas. If at any time you decide that you want to go and move the stuff on those little roads that you've put up at the top right corner of your map, what's going to happen is it's immediately going to take that red road off of the little one, and it's going to put it somewhere else. Okay, because now you haven't been upgrading your roads. So it's going to immediately be like, oh, fuck, hello, come over here and fix this road. We got too many people on it. And what's going to end up happening, if you don't end up fixing those roads, you're going to have to sit there and dink around and move all this shit all over the place to try to push traffic back to that one tiny road again. And that could be very, very annoying to have to deal with, trust me, because it took me like 12 days of I didn't move anything. All I did was let the parks sit on these little roads. It took me 12 days to get them there, okay? I didn't do anything in that area. I just left them sit, and it took about 12 days of time to accumulate to get those roads red. So it could be very problematic if you ended up moving them. So whatever you do, make sure that you don't have any intentions of moving it. That being said, okay, now, if you don't care about the looks, if you are trying to, let's say you're going to put it on your storage, water, sewer, garbage, something like that. If you decide to put a service zone on it, you have to connect that road to the main road somehow. And that is what we've done here. Okay? So these little roads are connected to the main road. And they kind of branch off. That will work. But like I said, if I was to put the water service here, how it's on this little dash, it's not going to work. It's not going to allow those services to get to the people. They have to be connected to a road that connects to the houses to be serviceable. So don't do that. You can do it like this, sure. On the other side, if they're on the main road up here, like as long as one side of the building is on the main stretch of road, yes, you can do that. So if you do that and you decide to do a service area, take your main stretch of road and do what I did here, okay? And do 3 branches off. That's one thing you can do. Now, if you don't want to do that, and you want to do it, technically, all it has to be is 3 red roads. Doesn't matter how big they are or whatever. Just 3, okay? And you don't want them near homes is all. So, over here, because I was just testing, as you can see, I have all kinds of designs and shit. So if it were me, because I'm really big on the looks of my city, I would put a very small stretch of road, so something like this, these right here, and I would put it somewhere in the middle of the water, and I would surround it to make it look natural. Now, that would depend on what you want to put there. So we're going to try a couple things, and I'm going to show you guys a few things, okay? So let me move this shit out the way. Okay. See how my service is $5.19? Okay. Now, wait a minute. Water doesn't need to be connected? Doesn't make sense. Okay, you guys, now I'm like on a mission. Hold on. It's not gonna work. What is going on here? So the numbers just don't move, but it's not connected. Okay, I see. All right. I'm pretty sure on the capital map it's a little different. Anyways, now that I'm done dinking around with that dumb shit. All right. So, let's say that where are my 3 red roads? I don't want to fuck this up. Okay. You'll notice when you bulldoze stuff that it kind of automatically rotates like that. So this notification here with the red road, I can't stand looking at that shit. I don't know how people do it. I'll see their map and I'll see like their Eiffel Tower or something sitting out in the dead center of the map, and it doesn't have a road near it anywhere. And I'm like, God, that's got to be annoying. It's just like those stupid yellow hats that you got to sit there and look at. They're so fucking irritating. Okay, so let's say that you do something like this, and you wanted to put, like I said, maybe a bigger building like an Eiffel Tower or a whatever, okay? So you wanted to put a building on either side of it, right? So you're going to see this little road here all the fucking time. And depending on whatever it is that you put on there, it might be a park that you want to put, it could be anything, okay? Whatever you put on that side of the road, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your landscape tab, and let's say you have like water, right? So watch, we're going to do two different things. So what the water's going to look like right up against the road, to me, this looks tacky as fuck. And I've never do this, ever, because it, to me, looks like total shit. A lot of people do this, okay? And they put the water right up against the roadway, just straight up to the street, and then they'll put their building, whatever's there, and then that's what it typically ends up looking like. Now, if it were me, what I would do is I would try to, you can put water near the roadway, but only do a couple. And what I mean by that, so here's the thing. Most of you, if you have regional maps unlocked, there are a couple of trees that blend a lot more nicely up against the roadways and the water lines. For me, I think that the weeping willows do a way better job at making it look natural because they popcorn out, right? So if you look at, like, for example, this one, okay, that's the cactus one. You can still see the roadway very clear. It doesn't really block anything, and when you put water around it, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, I hate how they every fucking time I'm looking and doing shit and rearranging shit, this fucking game goes dark. Every time, and it drives me nuts. Okay, so the trees. You'll notice when you place the trees near the water lines that they sometimes will look like it's like the game doesn't conform very easily, and they look like they're not really, they leave like a little space of land in between the tree and the water. It's very small usually. Now, usually what I do when that happens, especially on my capital map, because I mean, a lot of you have seen my capital map and you know how much time I put into it. And when I tell you guys that I fucked around for hours in one little area fucking with trees, I meant that. I put a lot of thought into my capital. So the palm trees, okay, they also conform very nicely around the water. See? Versus I'm going to put some water out and I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about a little better. Okay. So, if I was to take these trees, right? Okay. Sometimes they conform very nicely. But see how they go like over the water? They don't look like they belong there. You know what I mean? And it also is going to depend on the way that they look. It's going to depend when you start putting other trees near them. They will like reform. So what I usually do is I try to place like one yellow tree every couple trees to kind of accent the green and the yellows. And sometimes what ends up happening is the yellow trees end up totally disappearing behind the green trees. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to make it look right. But my favorite tree of all, okay, the one that looks the best along the water is going to be the weeping willow. Now, when you place this along the water, and I'm going to show you guys. So, everything in the landscape tab, like the animals and shit, you don't have to have water, or roads, I mean, up against them. So, see if I can figure out something that would look nice. So like this one has a little piece of water on the bottom right corner of it. So I try to put that near the water lines sometimes because it, like I said, it kind of accents off a little bit. But see how that looks really tacky with the water like that? So you could put like a tree in front of it, right? And then like that. And start working your way up to this area here. So let's go with, I have one of those. Put that there. And then we'll do, and here's the other thing too. These trees are very expensive. They're 250 regional coins. A lot of you, if you've been following my videos, you probably don't even have a regional map unlocked. So you might just be stuck with the normal trees from the game. Which, when you don't have regionals unlocked, the only trees that you have available to you are these 3 trees here. And they cost they cost cash. They can get quite expensive, as you can tell. So, let's see. I'll try to put some of those out. Okay, so like we've done some of that, and then let's see. Do one of those. And put one. No. Okay, so all right. I could put one of these here, but it's not going to look well because I'm going to show you why. Okay, so see, it's looking better. You can't really see the road, but see how that light green one, it doesn't connect to the water lines the way that the other trees do. I'm going to show you something. This is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to store that. So I already know I'm going to need a weeping willow there to make it look better. Okay, see that aspen grove is not working well for me. Doesn't look good at all. So let's go with, put that there, and then we'll do maybe one of those. So you can, now I usually try to put the palm trees in front of something where I want to be able to see it. Because here's the thing, if you put trees too close together and in front of buildings, you won't be able to see the buildings very easily. So I try to put these ones when I want to like see through something because they're not as dense, right? So let's, I don't like the way that looks at all. Let's go this way with the water. Let's try this, okay? All right. Now we're gonna go with a, fuck it, let's go with one of those again. Okay, and then we're going to take an aspen grove and put it, hang on a minute. Okay, that's why. All right, so we've worked our way kind of up and around. Now you can see that I can see the building and I can see the trees, but I can't see the road unless I go like this, right? And I still have one space available. So usually what's going to happen, I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. I don't try to waste filler trees like that because if I put, I'm going to show you, watch. I could put this there, right? Or because it's not really popcorning out because it's kind of close, it's all condensed and like stuffed together. What you can do is do something that accents it off, or a filler tree. And what I mean by that is just a cheap, you know, you can do this to accent it, right? So like that. Or you can go with something like a filler tree, just a basic whatever, you know? Okay. Now, see where we left the palm tree, how we can see through, see how we can kind of see through and we can see the road. Now, if I had a building that I wanted to be visible, let's say I had like an animal like park on the other side, right? I would be able to see it a little better. Well, in this case, I don't want to see the road better. So I'm going to put something else there. Now, like I said, these ones tend to be the most dense and look the best up against the water. So I could do that. Or because I have so many of them right there, go with one of those. Let's see. No, that does not look good. That looks too short. All right, let's try this. Go with this, put it there. Nope, that's fucked up. All right, actually, yeah, hang on. And then we can, okay. So in this instance, I don't like that at all. See what I mean? Like how the trees kind of see through on like right dead center. Like I can't really see the road from any other angle, but right through that one yellow tree. So that I don't like. So I'm going to pick that fucker back up. Now, and this is what I was referring to in, actually I'll show you that on my capital because I already have it done. So I won't mess with it because it's not going to apply to this anyway. So let's do this. Let's put another one there. Okay. Now, my fucking screen went dark again. Okay. So let's say that we wanted to kind of expand around. Let's say that, you know, this is your main one, right? So you've got that all taken care of. You can't really even see the road, honestly. It looks pretty good. So we've got this one yellow tree out here in the middle of the water. We can move that if you know what I mean? Like you can move that around and mess with it. You don't have to have it like that. But usually what I try to do is I try to utilize my roadways. And I've put this in my design videos before. And what I mean by that is trees and animals don't require roads, but parks and other buildings do. So what I try to do is I try to take any time I have a road that I can use. So in this, what I mean by this is anything along the sides here that I'm going to be doing water, okay? I would try to put something like a park or whatever. I try not to put trees and water on the roads, and I try not to put animals on the roads. I try to put like parks and buildings first and then put the animals and trees after, because you don't always have an opportunity to utilize those roadways. So anytime you get an opportunity to put something on a roadway that requires one, you know what I mean? Do it. At least that's what I think. So in this instance, like these are my other three. I wouldn't actually keep it like this, obviously. But now, see how this corner of the bunny doesn't have trees? If I was trying to make this look really good, I would actually pick this up, okay? And I would put, let's see. Why does, okay, that's why. I missed a square. I'm like, what the fuck? That looks terrible. All right. So, like that. Okay. Now, I could keep going and kind of go this way, or what I could do is I could, anytime that you want to extend the water, you just have to kind of, how do I put this? You want to tilt your screen to be whatever way you face your game. Okay, so I'm really OCD, and I like to keep everything facing one direction. And I usually look at my game from one direction only. Because if I was to go like this, and like this, and like this, to see how it looked good, I'd go absolutely crazy. So what I do is I try to make it look as good as possible from one angle, right? And then I'll kind of tilt it just a little bit to kind of get the sides of all the buildings just like that much, you know? When it's done, it will work itself out. Okay. But if you start spinning and doing and whatever, you'll be like, oh, I can see my road there, you know, like it's going to look like shit. So in this case, honestly, me being my OCD self, I would not leave this tree like this. That's going to drive me nuts. That wasn't a good example of a filler tree because it shows the road too much. Now, I could put that there and it's going to hide the road a lot better. Now, go back to these stupid animals. Okay. These things, the ones that have pieces of water in them, okay? They look really nice up against the water as well. And these also look good. Now, these do not look good. They don't form very well to the water, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So, see what I mean? To me, okay, if you look at the lines, look at right on the edge of every tree, okay? And you want to look at that water line to make sure it looks more natural. And some trees, like I said, when they're placed near other trees, they can form differently. And in this case, these ones, they don't usually work out very well. Now, you can get them to look nice if you put them like separate. And you were to, like, you separate them up and then you put, you know, some of these in the way, right? Like, that looks really cool. You know what I mean? But you kind of have to mess around with the frosty trees because those things can look really, really bad. So, like, that's what I mean. That does not look natural. If I would have put, well, I'm going to show you what I mean. If I would have put weeping willows there like that, they would have looked better than that. See what I mean? They look way better, to me anyway. Now, they also, they like I said, they popcorn out a lot differently when they're in a different area. Oh, there we go. Why can't I just have double trees? Talk about a game glitch, huh? Fuck. All right. So, this thing is also a good, if you have this stupid thing, it's very large, but it can be placed, apparently nowhere on my map. Anyway, it can look good when you place that up against stuff. Same with the graveyard. But you just got to mess with it. Now, this thing, the campground, a lot of people put these out, and honestly, I don't like the way that they look because they're very thin. They aren't dense at all. Look at that. So they look, to me, they look terrible. So, like, look at the water. To me, that looks bad. Because if I would have put the campground in front of that roadway, it would not have looked well. So I don't buy these. I try not to buy those. If you, like I said, if you're limited to the game trees only, you don't have regionals or whatever, that's fine. The bears and stuff, they look really cool up against the water as well. Same with the deer. These things here, they also look good up against the water. But you kind of want to put some, usually you want to put some trees, maybe 1 or 2 trees in this area. And kind of, it's a pain in the ass to do that, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so you just want to make shit look good. Now, to me, that looks okay if I was to put some trees around this area up here. But if I was trying to hide this roadway, the one directly in front of the lake sauna, I would probably put trees and water. Now, let's say I wanted to extend my water, okay? So let's take this one out and let's do, you're going to have to leave a break in the water. So usually when I'm messing with my capital map, I'm like, all right, if I'm extending it, I don't try to, anytime I extend my water, I try to extend it at least 2 squares wide because 1 square wide looks really bad. To me anyway. So say I were to go like that, right? So yes, I could, that's 1 square wide. No, that's 2. Okay, cool. So here, to get rid of that fucking thing. So in this instance, there's a road here, and I'm trying to utilize this roadway for whatever, because I don't, like I said, you don't want to just waste your opportunities. They don't come by very often. So in this case, I would either drop out these and put a park, but obviously I'm trying to extend the water, so I would actually probably knock out this road and extend it. But for the purpose of the video, let's just say that you're not going to do that, because I don't want to mess with all that right this minute. So we're going to go with a couple more of these. Let's do one of those. Let's throw one of those in. And do another one of these. I don't know if I'm going to like that. No. See, that's not going to look good. I'm way too OCD. This is what happens, you guys. This is why I disappear from the chat for several minutes. So, like, again, my fucking game went dark. So, essentially, what you could do is be like, oh, okay, now you want to, let's say I wanted to extend my water. Be like, all right, well, fuck it. Let's just branch off this way. And we'll just keep going, right? And you just keep working your way and making it look good. So, now that you can't see anything, fuck. That drives me nuts, you guys. You don't even know. Okay, so you guys get the point. Now I'm just getting OCD with this stupid shit. So that's what you're going to do to try to make the roadways blend more naturally, right? Now what you can do is you can put, of course you can put parks and buildings and things just right on the roadway and then just try to surround those buildings with trees and then water, or just do trees or whatever. You know what I mean? I recommend doing something similar to this. Now, I could put any building here, you know what I mean? And they're all going to look... Obviously, if you're doing this for the road upgrade technique and not just for the city design, you are not going to be able to move that, okay? So whatever you put there, make sure that you keep it there. And I recommend doing the tree and water design before the road goes red. Because if you do it after, it's going to fuck with the redness again. Okay, so make sure that you have all this done and then wait for those roads to go red. Now, if those roads, let's say that you've done this, okay? Let's say that I'm just now starting out and I want this particular roadway to go red. I'm going to go and I'm going to make sure that nothing else is red. And if it is, I'm going to pick stuff up and I'm going to move it around until only the roads that I want to be red are red. And that's kind of how you're going to force the traffic onto those parts of the road. Now, as you can see, this, I must have like missed something. Okay, so let's grab a different building here. Trying to think of something, because most of my good shit's on my capital map. A lot of people do like the casinos or these, like, okay, this thing. A lot of people, you guys might not have this though. And I don't have room for it, but that would look good there. Or like these landscapes, some of these tundras, they look really nice along the water if you surround them with trees. They're quite large though. So you guys just mess with it, or you know what I mean, and see what you can get to look good. But essentially, a lot of people do like the casinos and shit, which, you know, they don't look bad. They look okay. I would probably pick something a little larger if it were me, to kind of bring the... I mean, even honestly, what you could do is even do something like, you could surround it with trees only and do like a park like that, you know, and then branch off and kind of go that way, and you can't even really see it, you know what I mean? So that's what I would do. I would do something similar to that. Any building can go there, really. Just whatever you guys like to look up best. Even a Ferris wheel would look pretty cool there. Now, some of these things, okay, these buildings, they have, fuck, that's so annoying. Some of these buildings you can face multiple directions and they still look good. The Ferris wheel is one of those buildings. So you can have it facing this way or this way, and it still looks good. Okay. Now, there are several other buildings like this one here that has water like kind of in it. Those usually look pretty good if they're placed around it because you can kind of see the water and then, you know what I mean? It kind of looks like the water ran up that way. So, like this one, you know, that one would look cool there if it fit there. Anyways, I've been talking about this for way too long. So you guys get the point, right? So that's essentially what you're going to be doing. And if you wanted to, you could even do some bridges, maybe even cut. Okay, like let's say you cut out this tree here, right? Where did that? Okay. I must have moved the wrong one. Okay. So, in this case, I have too many. But let's just say it was like that, okay? Then what you can do, and what I like to do, some of these bridges look better horizontally than vertically. This cobblestone one is one that looks better horizontally because it has those little cutouts to where you can like view the water, so you can see it like running underneath of it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that. So that one would look good there. Like this one would probably not look very good there. A suspension would look okay. This one would be okay, maybe. I would probably extend. This one can go over the roadway, so that one's really cool. It extends itself. I would have to branch that back out. Yeah, okay. So if you're trying to bulldoze something and you don't want to bulldoze the whole road, what you would do is that, and then bulldoze, right? And then do like that. And then you could put that, let's say we were to put this stupid thing back there. That looks like shit. Don't do that. So just mess around with it, honestly. And to avoid wasting money, do not buy bridges that you already have purchased elsewhere. So if you have like a plumb bob bridge in your capital map, pick it up, put it in storage, and bring it, over here to mess around with it. There's no sense in spending money and then going, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. It doesn't look good. So don't do that. Now, some bridges actually look okay without them even being attached to another road. So like in this instance, it just goes right up to the tree and it looks okay. So say we were to do that because we want to be able to see the water. Let's just say that. And let's say that we went with a park. I would probably not do a plumb bob park because that would probably look funny. Yeah, that looks fucking way out of ordinary. Let's see. I know, I can't even believe them. Okay, the pink trees, I'm a big fan of those. Those are cute. I would probably do something like that. Or just do a thin tree. Like, honestly, this is a perfect example of when I would use a palm tree. So, yeah, I would do that. So now that looks okay, you know what I mean? And so I would branch off and I would just keep going. And honestly, I think it looks pretty good. So I know I've been talking for too long. I didn't even get to the... Oh my God, seriously? Wow. All right. Okay,